When you bought a camera, you used to take the thing out of the box, put batteries, film, an SD card in it, and it just worked. You could take video, you could take pictures, it worked. It was your camera, you could use it the way you want. But now when you buy a camera, you didn't actually buy a camera, you bought a limited license to use the camera the way the manufacturer told you to. Limited license. DJI grants you a limited, non-sublicensable license to access and use the product for their intended purposes only. You will not hack, crack, or modify the product, which unfortunately now is necessary. Here, I turn on this camera that I bought right before sending it right back where it came from, and I can't use it. I have to activate it, which means scanning a QR code and downloading an application and giving it permissions on my phone, and just I don't want to do that. It asks for permissions that it just doesn't need for this purpose. I don't want to do it. And the same thing happened to Dave Jones with a camera that he bought.
So I got it straight out of the box and I turned it on, and this is what happens. Let's turn it on. Really excited. Oh, English? Yeah, no worries. Of course, you've got to go through the setup. Please download the Insta360 CCP spyware app in the App Store or Google Play to activate your camera. You can't even use this thing out of the box.
Now, let's say that you take this product out of the box and it says it will not work without activation, but the activation server goes down, or that application no longer works with that older product. When does that happen, Lewis? That happens never. It's not like a major multi-billion-dollar company would ever turn off a server to be able to activate a product that had a lifetime license it was sold with. Right. Here's how you can push back against that crap. When you buy this and when you return it, do not explain the reason as anything other than defective. Mark it as defective. Product does not work. Wanted to take video, would not let me take video. There's two reasons for this. The first is that it makes sure that the definition of defective remains sane. Because if you buy a camera and you can't use that thing out of the box without doing all this bullshit, that's a defect. Secondly, it fucks with their merchant statistics. So whoever they're using, let's say you're selling a product on Amazon or eBay, they want to know what the return reason is, because if it's, I don't like the product, or it was different than I thought it would be, then that sounds like it was the fault of the buyer. However, when you mark the product as defective, that makes it the fault of the seller. It fucks up their metrics and it forces them to change how they do things if they want to stay on the platform. It creates trouble for them. If you bought an Echelon exercise bicycle and you are within the return period, and before they updated the firmware, you were able to use third-party apps, but now you can't use a third-party app, don't say other third-party app doesn't work the way I wanted. Defective. They bricked a feature of the product. If you bought a future home thermostat and it's still in the return period and they pushed out a firmware update that requires that you pay for it, that's ransomware. That's not other, don't like the product, change my mind. That's defective. Make sure that when you return products like this, that you're returning them in a way that fucks with the manufacturer's metrics when you're doing so that they are hurt as much as possible.